radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
You're watching INCRadio. INCRadio. Central Valley, California. Central Valley, California. Central Valley, California. INCRadio. Central Valley, California.
Welcome to INCRadio, South Central Valley, California Satellite Studios. I am your host for today, Arnie. I'm obviously not in Central California. I'm actually here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I have with me another co-host or guest. Andrew, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Andrew Wynn, and I'm from High Point, North Carolina. But back in the day, I was in Lemoore and also Bakersfield. So I do know some of the places and some of the listeners today, and I'm happy to be on board. And what are we going to talk about today, Arnie?
So it looks like today we're going to talk about nature. So anything about nature. So Andrew, how do you feel about nature?
I love it. Back in the day, I would go to Sequoia National Park. That's kind of east of Fresno, and look at the beautiful tall trees and just kind of relax. Or I might stop part way to Sequoias in the winter months and go down the hills on a toboggan. Another thing I like to do is to go east of Visalia and go to the Kauai River and go down some rafts. Maybe it's about a 3 on the 1 to 5 scale, where 5 is just so disturbed, there's too much to it, and 1 is like a swimming pool. So those are two of the things I love to do in the Central Valley.
Oh, that is so pretty cool. I think the only area I've been around in the Central Valley was Yosemite. I don't know if that's considered a Central Valley, but Yosemite, my sisters and I and my nephews, we went and did the hike there. But in Sacramento, when I was younger, we used to go rafting on the American River, and it wasn't like rapids or anything like that. It was just, mellow rafting. And so it was more leisurely. And a lot of times we'd have 1 or 2 rafts going at the same time. And then we would play volleyball with each other in the water.
Rafting is a blast. Just remember 2 things: wear your life preservers and pray.
Exactly. Exactly. So, first of all, we do appreciate all the viewers and those who are logged on. We do have a question for the day in case you'd like to answer or share. And it is, what do you enjoy most about nature? So, Andrew, what do you enjoy most about nature?
Actually, I'm looking at the chat, and I'm going to read what Rudolph Castillos Ilaga said. When in nature, I enjoy the trees and the fresh air. I'm a big fan of waterfalls, and I also love the Japanese fish ponds in Japan, where you can see all the beautiful colored fish.
I do love water too. Waterfalls, especially in Hawaii, they've got such beautiful waterfalls. I do enjoy that. And I love the ocean. So I like the whole ocean view. I don't like getting in the sand too much, but having the view of the ocean and being able to go out into the ocean was really cool. And I think one of the benefits, I used to live in San Diego. So one of the benefits of living there was you were always near oceans. And when I was stressed out at work, I would just take my laptop and actually work from the ocean, which I thought was the coolest thing.
I've also walked to bodies of water from work in San Francisco before, back in the day. I live in North Carolina now, about 2.5 hours from the ocean, depending on which beach I'm going to, maybe 3 if I'm going a little bit further. So I'm happy, and I will go out and swim in the ocean if I check with lifeguards and make sure that it's safe to swim, there aren't sharks, and there aren't undercurrents. And I've also done some ocean swimming around Oahu, Hawaii, But again, I asked the locals where the safe place was to go. And as long as you can do that, you can swim, it's a lot of fun.
That's so cool. So what about nature makes you happy?
Nature is God's creation. What I like is how relaxed nature is. I like to take a hike on a very slight incline, maybe 5 or 10 degrees on pre-made trails that people have taken for years, and you observe the shrubbery. You can do a little bit of ornithology, which is a big word for bird watching. You can observe the different plants. And if you time it the right type of year on the right type of weather, you can have a cool breeze and on a partly cloudy day, and it just feels great.
And like our viewers were saying, where the fresh air, I get allergies a lot. And so when you have like the nice fresh air where there's like waterfalls or the ocean, it's like I don't have allergies. And I think that's what I enjoy about nature, especially, like I said, the water. And what do you think is the most beautiful thing in nature?
I don't know. I would say if you're in the Puget Sound area and you look at a sunrise with Mount Rainier in the background, that is pretty close, pretty nice. I would say if you go to Emerald Lake in Canada and you look down at the green water, but it's clear, you can see the bottom. That's another beauty of nature. So I don't know if it would be lakes or mountains, or there's quite a few beautiful aspects to nature.
Yeah, that's so true. Over what was that, last weekend, we had a little camping activity. And so for me, being able to see the stars at night when you're away from the city, I think that is just so beautiful and so calming. And it just shows us, there's, you know, this world is bigger than just us, right? And being able to see the stars, it just shows the manifestation of like God's power.
Well, that's what's nice about North Carolina. If you drive a little bit west of here and then maybe an hour north, you can go up into the mountains, and they aren't tall like the Rockies or anything. These are the Appalachians. You can get 5,000 feet up, and you can clearly see the stars at night, but you may want to bring a jacket also.
Oh, that's true. You do have to get prepared no matter where you go. Especially like sometimes I know where people do hikes, they don't know what's there and they forget to either bring bug spray, or sometimes, they're at the point where they think it's going to be all dry hiking, but then all of a sudden there's some stream that they have to cross. So you have to make sure you bring extra things. And for me, what I always remind people to do is when you're out trying to enjoy nature, whether you're hiking or doing different activities, make sure you have food because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to be stranded there. You don't know if it's going to be a while before you get to food and water. So I always say bring like some kind of snacks or water. What advice do you have when you're out in nature?
I bring at least 9 pairs of extra socks. And I know that sounds crazy, but the first thing, if you go on a long hike and if you get lost and you're hiking for longer than you thought, you have to change your socks. That's the most important thing to bring. Secondly, I would bring an ace bandage or two. I would bring some ointments. I would definitely bring some nuts. I would definitely bring some water. I would definitely bring a thermal blanket and a small tent. And all of this you can put in a day pack if you pack it right, if you're reasonable and you're good at packing.
Hello
That's
po.
a great suggestion.
Can you hear me? Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Terry.
Yes, Mr. Terry.
Yeah, so thank you so much. So everyone, hi everybody. Thank you for joining us again. I really appreciate it. And of course, Sister Arnie and Brother Andrew has been doing such a great and wonderful job as far as our discussion is concerned. So carry on, and I'll go ahead and let you know if I have any answers to your questions about nature. But okay, let me go ahead. And I do love the beach, as Sister Arnie also does. And I love the beach so much. I could sit there forever. And I won't swim only because I don't know how. So I love to wade around the beach, walk around, look at people, and talk about what they're thinking while they're walking on the beach. But that's what I do. But I also like the nature where there's forest, and I see like little flowers growing, maybe little insects coming out of the barks that are almost dead or something like that. I like to, I notice all those things and I really enjoy it. So those things, that's what I enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead and give it back to you, Arnie.
And that's so true, especially like the smell of nature, when you get the chance to actually smell the flowers, the different types of flowers, because they all have different smells. That is so nice. I went to a place where they had lavender, and just smelling lavender everywhere I thought was beautiful. And then growing up, my mom had a lot of roses. And so we got to have the smell of roses in the house and all around. So I thought that was pretty cool. We're talking about all this great, colorful stuff, but we haven't mentioned the desert. Does anyone enjoy the desert?
Yes, the desert can be very peaceful and very relaxing. I just give you a tip. If you're going to the desert in, let's say, August or something, be very careful about where you are, what type of day, and where you're going. If you go out early in the morning, it's nice, but in the afternoon, the heat can be almost unbearable unless you're prepared for it. Bring some shade with you and know where you're going. But the desert, and it's beautiful. And if you see the desert after a sudden rainstorm, you will not believe the desert flora that suddenly comes up.
Yeah. I I don't know about the desert because I mean, for me, it just looks so plain. But I guess there is some serenity to it. I don't know. But we do have a comment. Melvi is making a comment, and she said she does miss the beaches for sure. And she used to live in Guam, so she didn't have to drive hours to go to the beach. And she likes to watch the sunset and the sunrise. I'm more of a sunset person, not a sunrise person, because I don't like to wake up in the morning. What about you, Andrew? Are you a sunset or a sunrise?
I'm actually both. I'm one of these 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. people. So I could easily get up at 4 in the morning and then stay up till about 8 at night if I got up that early. Or instead, I could do it differently and get up at 9 in the morning and stay up till midnight.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have to say, I'm a morning person. I like to do things in the morning, get it out of the way because it gets heated up in the evening. And the same with the desert. I'm not into the desert. It's because it's hot, and I'm sure there's a lot of nice nature in the desert, like little lizards maybe, or cactus. But yeah, I don't do the desert, but I'm sure it's beautiful. Um,
Actually, we have a comment in the chat from Rudolph Castellanos Ilaga, missing Joshua Tree National Park since I used to live in Southern California. I loved hiking there as well as in Arizona. And those both are talking about deserts.
And there is one thing I do like about the desert. I just thought of it now, where there's a fruit that grows on a cactus, and it's called a prickly pear. When I was in Peru, I actually had some of that and had their juice. It was so good. So I guess, yes, there is something good about the desert.
is that fruit sweet, or what does it taste like?
It is. It's sweet. I can't describe what it tastes like, but it's red, and they call it the prickly pear because before you peel it, there are kind of like spikes around it, kind of. Um, I think it reminds me of the red dragon fruit. I want to say something like that. But it doesn't have as much seed as the dragon fruit. But it was just delicious. And like I said, I've only had it when I was in Lima in Peru. I haven't seen it anywhere else, so I don't know where else it would be. But so that means the desert is nice then, right?
And I happen to have a son-in-law who's from Mexico, and they do a lot with eating cactus there, and it's very nutritious. So don't sell the cactus short.
That is so true. What else? I mean, what other ones? We've covered the desert. We've covered the trees, the beaches,
Um,
lakes.
if you ever climb
How
a
about the
mountain,
mountains?
if you ever climb a mountain, now there's some you have to be careful with because they're active volcanoes. So research the mountain first before you climb it. If you want an easier mountain climb, you could go to the San Juan Islands in Puget Sound between Washington State and Canada. And the mountains are just a few thousand feet high there, but they come out of the water and they're absolutely beautiful. And there's these trails that kind of wind up them. So they're beautiful for hiking. If you're very adventurous and you've climbed mountains before, Mount Rainier is an incredible mountain to climb, but it can be quite exhausting. And I recommend having a pair of short skis on the back of your backpack, like about 3 feet long, so you can ski down part of the mountain when you make your descent.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that daring to go up a mountain. When I usually do hikes, they're on trails, on like nothing too steep and nothing too high. I think I'm not afraid of heights, but I've seen it where, people might have fallen off cliffs and stuff like that. So I think I tend to stay away from mountains and do more of a hill of a hike.
You know,
Oh,
actually, when I went to Hawaii, a friend of mine took me to the mountain where the sun rises. So we went up there, and he did tell me that it even snows there. So I was kind of surprised that in Hawaii it actually snows. That's probably the highest peak of where the mountain was, or where the snow comes down. But it was
was
beautiful. It was
was
beautiful.
this big island?
Uh, in Maui,
Oh,
actually.
Maui. Okay.
Yes, po. Yeah.
So was that the road to Hana, I think is what they have in Maui?
I think he took me to a place called Kuwela Wela or something with the
Oh
W.
yeah. I don't know. I have
Yeah.
not. I don't think I've done mountains. I mean, I've done hikes in Hawaii, but they weren't like the high mountains or anything. So I did a few of the waterfalls, but not any of the mountains.
Well, there is a volcano that's sometimes active on the big islands. Before I would hike that mountain, I definitely ask the locals what is safe and what is not safe.
Um, I don't know. I usually when we go, we just go where most people tell us to go. You're not gonna like try to go places that you've never heard of. So a lot of the places we've done is the places we've heard of, you know. But Rudolph made another comment, and he said, try going to Palm Springs. I actually have been to Palm Springs, and I usually only go there in the winter time when it's not so hot, because the summertime is crazy over there. And actually, the drive to Palm Springs, it's not bad. Coming from Orange County, it's not too bad, and it's desert, but I guess not so much, even though it is.
It's probably what you consider high desert as opposed to low desert. It's not like Death Valley.
Oh, that is pretty cool. So before we do continue on, I think they do have a video of past activities held here in Central Valley, California. If we can have that shown via tech.
Incorporating outdoor activities such as nature walks in our lives are beneficial to our overall health. Doing so with family and friends help reduce stress or even anxiety and improve mood and concentration as well. Let's have a look at what some of our brethren experienced during their nature walk and adventures at the Yosemite National Park. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
Hello everyone, I am Sister Mia from the locale of Santa Maria, and I was one of the Kadivas who went on the Yosemite Nature Walk. It was definitely exciting since it was my first time going to Yosemite, and I was awestruck by the views, just seeing nature, water, the waterfalls. Oh, we hiked mist trails, by the way, so we got to see vernal falls. So seeing them up in person was definitely breathtaking, and seeing like the double rainbow at the bottom of the falls was amazing. So it was really something that I enjoyed. And also, it was a physical activity. It was a hike. I don't know. I think it was about 3 miles where we hiked back and forth. And it was definitely something physical where we engaged our bodies. And also, going with other Kaniwas was definitely memories were made and fun times were shared during the hike. So that was my experience of the Yosemite, and I hope to go on more nature walks with everyone in the whole CFO.
We hope you enjoyed that video presentation and may it serve as a reminder to us all that our health is indeed very important and that we should always take good care of ourselves. And remember, motivation gets us starting, but good habits keep us going. Melvi Tamaya here, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.
That is pretty cool. I've never been to Sequoia, so I can't really compare. But I did love Yosemite. So, Terry, do you have any upcoming district activities you'd like to share?
Yes, of course. I don't know if you can hear me through the noise in the background, but coming up next week, we're having the Unity Games track and field, and we really enjoyed all of the Unity Games that we've had. It's been quite really memorable because all of our brethren try to join and participate in all of that. So that's great. That's one of the ones that we are looking forward to. And today we actually have what's going on here as our SOS. So a lot of people, I just want to show you, a lot of people are out here right now trying to get ready with it. And here's the front. So I'm kind of like in the lobby, and some of our brethren are coming in, and it starts at 2. So um, I do want to say that I appreciate everyone who is watching and is tuning in. And thanks to Brother Andrew and Ka Arnie for helping me out. Back to you, Arnie.
All right. And so we do want to give a few shout outs to those who are listening and viewing. We have our folks from Arosi, from Ilugan, Metro Manila. I don't know if I said that correctly. And then we have folks from Rizal, Merced, and somebody from Cardiff, Wales. I think that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So thank you so much for listening and joining us during our presentation. And Andrew, anything else for you?
Yes, YouTube, if you want to watch the show, just type in INCRadio, Central Valley, California. And you can subscribe to our INCRadio, DZM 954, and you can catch us online at INCRadio. We would like to thank our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. We would like to thank our SEBSI president and CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Iranio V. Manalo. We would like to thank our district minister, Brother Isaiah Antonu. And we hope you've enjoyed your show today. Please stay tuned for INCRadio Seattle.
And brother, I'm going to do one thing, okay? I'm going to do a cheap plug for me. If you guys are up at, let's say, 9 o'clock Central Time, so that would be 7 o'clock Pacific time, join South Central States. But thank you all for joining and for listening. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you po. Bye-bye.
Maraming salamat po. Goodbye. Have a great day. Enjoy your songs of salvation.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Sa bayan nga iyong inihala, sa iglesia sila ay nagmamahal. Sa amin iyong ibiniyaya ang pamamahala na sa'yo nagmula. Isang lider upang mamuna, pag-ibig sa iglesia ang ipinagpapauna. Mamahala na mapagmalasakit, alanganan sa aming kapakanan. Siya'y tunay na nagpapagal para sa kabuuan ng iyong kawan. Kaya dalangin sa iyo ng buong iglesia, mabuhay at lakas, naway basbas sa kanila. Naway iyong ipagkaloob ang iyong tulong at awa, sa iyong inilagay na pamamahala. Kanilang laging ipinapanalangin ang paglilingkod at kapakanan namin. Kaya aming pangako, lalo pa magtatapang, upang sa'yo'y maging karapat-dapat. Pagmamahal.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.